Hello there, boxing fans around the world. Thank you for joining me once again here on Talk and Fight for another episode of Boxing News Today, courtesy of our friends across the pond over boxing247.com. We're going to start off, though, with a couple of stories just simply revolving around the WBC and the various mandatory final eliminators that have been announced. The WBC officially ordered number 1 ranked in their books Deontay Wilder to face number 2 ranked Andy Ruiz Jr. in a final eliminator to decide the mandatory challenger, the heavyweight champion Tyson Fury, for his belt with the organization. So for Wilder, it's 43-2-1 record, by the way, 42 knockouts. The WBC's decision to order him to face the dangerous former unified champ Ruiz Jr., 35-2, by the way, 22 knockouts, probably isn't music to his ears because he was hoping to get a straight shot against IBF, WBA, WBO champ Alexander Usyk without having to go through the destroyer. The way that Ruiz rifled Luis Ortiz last September, there's an excellent chance that he'll be too much for the Bronze Bomber to deal with, says writer Brian Weber. If Wilder is lucky, WBC champ Fury will throw him a bone by giving him a title shot in a voluntary defense without the fragile-chinned Alabama native having to earn it the hard way by dealing with Ruiz, who looks even better than the June 2019 version that destroyed Anthony Joshua in 7 rounds in New York. Wilder is talking about wanting to fight 3 more years, but if he faces Ruiz for the WBC final eliminator next, his retirement timeline might get speeded up. Classic line. All right, let's move along now to a story by Craig Daly regarding the WBC, and they're next in line. WBC has ordered number 2 Isaac Pitbull Cruz to face number 4 Shakur Stevenson in a final 135-pound title eliminator to decide the mandatory challenger to fight lightweight undisputed champion Devin Haney. It's unclear whether Shakur's promoters at Top Rank will want to oblige the World Boxing Council's decision to order their fighter to face Pitbull Cruz, who's 24-2-1, by the way, because they intend on matching Stevenson, 19-0, by the way, 9 knockouts, against the winner of the Haney versus Vasyl Lomachenko fight. If Haney chooses to vacate his WBC title to move up to 140, Stevenson would be in a position to potentially fight for the vacated title unless the sanctioning body orders the number 1 Loma to face number 2 Pitbull Cruz for the belt. Ideally, Top Rank should allow the former 2-division world champion Shakur to take on Pitbull because it's a winnable fight for Stevenson, and it'll probably increase his popularity in a great build-up for him to take on the Haney versus Lomachenko winner for the WBC title. Stevenson is going to need to stay busy anyway while he waits for the smoke to clear from the Haney-Loma winner before he gets a shot at the WBC title, be it against the last man standing in that bout or more likely for the vacant strap. If Haney beats Loma, he'll almost surely move up to 140 immediately after, rather than sticking around the lightweight division, fighting half-trained to defend against Shakur. Pitbull, for his part, has looked sensational in his last 3 fights against Eduardo Ramirez, Yurikas Gamboa, and Gervonta Tank Davis. Cruz should have won all 3 of those fights as he got the better of Tank Davis in their clash last December at the Staples Center in L.A., California. Pitbull Cruz got the business, losing a fight that he should have won against Tank. If Pitbull fights at the same level against Stevenson as he did Tank, it should be interesting to watch the matchup from start to finish. And the third story regarding WBC coming out of their convention by Brian Weber. He says the WBC is now officially ordered IBF, WBA, and WBC welterweight champion Errol "The Truth" Spence to defend against his mandatory Keith "one-time" Thurman in his next fight. In a move that had been predicted by many people ahead of time, the WBC ordered the unbeaten Spence, 28-0, 22 knockouts, to defend his WBC 147-pound title against number 1 ranked Thurman, 30-1, 22 knockouts, during the convention down in Mexico. With the WBC ordering Spence Thurman, it essentially takes the guesswork out of Spence's next fight unless he wants to vacate that belt or have it stripped from him by the organization. Given that Spence is still eager to fight the WBO 147-pound champ Terence Crawford in early 2023 For the undisputed welterweight championship, he will need to face Thurman if he wants to hold on to that valuable chess piece. Now boxing fans are going to wait and see if Spence childishly vacates his WBC due to him perhaps still holding a grudge against Thurman for not fighting him earlier this year, or if he'll show maturity by forgiving his past resentment and defending against him. On paper, the former WBA and WBC welterweight champion Thurman is a nightmare for Spence, seeing that he's got the power, speed, mobility, boxing ability, and defensive skills to force the Texas native into a dogfight. Spence did look vulnerable in his last fight against the WBA welterweight champ Yordenis Ugas last April in a contest that saw both fighters hurt. Ugas came close to knocking out Spence early in the fight after staggering him with a right hand that knocked him senseless for a brief moment. The left hook that Thurman likes to fight could be a real problem for Spence in this fight if he's not able to do something to defend against it. Thurman landed that shot frequently in his last fight against Mario Barrios in February this past year, winning a wide 12-round unanimous decision. One time, Thurman looks like he had stepped out of suspended animation chamber, showing no hint of age from the higher he'd been during the zenith of his career from 2012 to 2017. The only hint of age on Thurman in the Barrios fight was his badly receding hairline, which wouldn't have been so noticeable if he cropped his hair short. Given how superb Thurman looked in that fight, he's got a real chance of defeating Spence. There you go. Let's move along now to a couple of fights taking place over in the UK. Nick Ball takes on a formidable Mexican test when he tops the bill at York Hall on Friday night with a defense of his WBC silver featherweight title live on BT Sport. The 25-year-old goes up against Jesus Ramirez Rubio, defeated only once in 24 professional fights back in 2017 and unbeaten in 15 with 2 draws. You don't want to be missing this one, confirmed Ball, who's 16-0 with 9 knockouts. It'll be all action because, you know, them Mexicans are born fighters, and I'm a born fighter too. That's all you need to really know. 2 born fighters going at each other. It's only going one way, isn't it? He has a high knockout ratio, knocking 14 out, and I've knocked 9 out. There is going to be blood shed. That is what we're coming for. Wow. Elsewhere on that card, Willie Hutchinson returns to light heavyweight action when he takes on Luca Sparachini over 10 rounds. Hutchinson, by the way, he's 14-1 with 10 knockouts. Makes a successful return to the ring back in June with a third-round stoppage of Karol Hruszczak, which was his first action since an unsuccessful tilt at the British and Commonwealth super middleweight against Lennox Clark in March of 2021. Elsewhere on that card, David Adelia, he's 9-0. Will hit double figures as a professional fighter on Friday when he faces the Mexican Elvis Garcia over 6 rounds and will seek to ensure his name is added to the big heavyweight conversation moving forward. Wow, did not know we had more heavyweights up and coming. All right. Also featured at York Hall is Queensbury new recruit Carl Fail. He's 6-0, the Northampton super welterweight, plus powerhouse cruiserweight Alois Jr. Yambui, 1-1. Ilford featherweight Umar Khan, 4-0. And Maidstone welterweight Sean Noakes. That was Sam Noakes. Anyway, Sean Noakes, 2-0, complete the card. And in other fight action across the pond, Troy Jones, speaking of crossing ponds, has traveled over 4,000 miles around the world to make sure that he's ready for his ring return. He's back in action, a part of BCB Promotions' next offering at the Hangar Events Venue in Wolverhampton. That's taking place on November 13th. Jones has spent part of his training camp in Dubai and only returned to the UK on Wednesday fight week after nearly 9 months since his last outing. It's been all changed for the 24-year-old, right down to moving home to Leicestershire, having been born in Chelmsford Wood, Birmingham, and growing up in Tamworth. Okay. The super middleweight prospect has also changed coaches, making the switch from John Costello to Lee Beard and his assistant trainer, John O. Williams. That means preparations mainly taking place in Manchester, which pales in significance when considering his latest trip overseas. Jones now resumes his efforts in adding to an unbeaten pro record, which stands at 3-0, with a 6-rounder completed last time out. Good stuff. Let's see if we have any more. No, there's no other news about who else is on that particular card. So we'll have to wait for another announcement from BCB Promotions. But in other action taking place shortly, we're going to see Sonny Edwards and Felix Alvarado. I won't mention the Ricky Hatton card because I know Holly Donovan's going to take care of that on Friday, tomorrow. That's my Remembrance Day. Edwards came face-to-face with his dangerous mandatory challenger at a press conference ahead of the IBF World Title Showdown at Probellum Sheffield. The top-level flyweight showdown headlines a major card at the Utilita Arena with Jack Basin versus Shabazz Masood acting as a brilliant co-main event, and tensions boiled over when the British rivals squared off, by the way. Security had to intervene as a heated exchange between the pair became physical, and the anticipation for their British super bantamweight title final eliminator has been ramped up several notches. But Edwards, known as Showtime, is the main attraction in the Steel City this week, and he plans on proving why there's no other 112-pound fighter that can touch him. The unbeaten IBF World Flyweight Champion Sonny Edwards said, Alvarado is a great champion from the weight below, but I genuinely think I'm past his level. I believe I'm elite level. We'll find out if this will be my toughest fight. I've had tough fights, but I've made them look not like that at all. All right. Felix Alvarado, for his part, who has 33 knockout wins on his record, said, the opponents Sonny fought are different to me, and on this next fight, he will find out why. Fair enough. That's Felix Alvarado. Jack Bates and Shabazz Masood have fired warning shots at each other ahead of their barnstorming battle of top British prospects. Is there any other information about other fighters on this card? No, there isn't, and that therefore wraps me up for today, fight fans. Thank you for joining me here on Talkin' Fight. Appreciate it very much. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Hit that notification bell, please. And we'll see you later on at... Nope, we won't see you later on at 4 p.m. We'll see you tomorrow on Remembrance Day. Thank you.